My goodness, we're hitting up on that soul right and left on WJRD's Top 11 Plus 50 survey of October 31st, 1966. Had Sam and Dave at number 18, Satisfied Mind by Bobby Hebb, and number 17. We had we had Bobby Bland earlier in the countdown. The Olympics, due to Philly Dog, also had that earlier in the countdown too. The Olympics, boy, they were pretty hot R&B back in the late 50s into the early to mid 60s. Did one of the early versions of Good Lovin', which was made into a big hit by the Rascals, but I'm getting off topic as usual. And of course, later on we got Joe Tags coming up on the countdown, as well as Lou Rawls and the Supremes and Percy Sledge coming up. Coming up on WJRD's Top 11 Plus 50 survey. But right now at number 16, we have a standard by Jimmy Ruffin, the older brother of David Ruffin, the lead singer of the Temptations, with What Becomes of the Brokenhearted. One of the biggest hits back in the fall of 1966. One of those memorable Motown records, with the Funk Brothers providing the instrumentation, and both the originals and the Adantes, Andantes, in case I'm mispronouncing the word, backing up Jimmy Ruffin on this record. It was written by three guys, three Motown songwriters, relatively obscure songwriters, William Weatherspoon and Paul Reiser. He was a arranger at Motown, and James Dean, a guy named James Dean, a songwriter at Motown. William Weatherspoon deserves a mention. He teamed up, he produced this record. He teamed up with Mickey Stevenson and produced this record. Mickey Stevenson, who co-wrote Dancing in the Streets by Martha and the Vandellas, and William Weatherspoon. Now here's what happened when Motown's prime songwriters, Eddie Holland, Brian Holland, and Lamont Dozier, when they left Motown, William Weatherspoon followed them to the Invictus record label. And at Invictus record label, William Weatherspoon, he teamed up with someone named Angelo Bond, and they wrote Women's Love Rights. Remember Women's Love Rights by Laura Lee? That was in 1971. And I'm Not My Brother's Keeper. They wrote that one, which was done by the Flaming Embers, which was a relatively minor hit for the Flaming Embers. I'm thinking fall of 1970. I believe it was the runner-up to Westbound Number 9. Oh, God, I love Westbound Number 9. Don't get me started on that record. Don't get me started on Westbound Number 9. Let's go back to this Jimmy Ruffin record. Jimmy and James Dean. Let's talk about James Dean. James Dean later teamed up with another guy, John. Oh God, I can't read my chicken scratch. I believe it's John Glover or something like that. Well, bottom line is this: James Dean later co-wrote the song "You Don't Have to Be a Star," covered by Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis, formerly of the Fifth Dimension, which went to number one back in the winter of 76, 77. These three guys, they wrote what Becomes the Brokenhearted. They wrote it for the Spinners. They had the Spinners in mind. The Spinners at the time, they were on Motown's VIP record label. But Jimmy Ruffin, he persuaded James Dean. He said, "Let me do this record. I got this." And he did it. Top 10 R&B, coming in at number 16 on WJRD's Top 11 Plus 50 survey. Boy, that kind of rhymes together. I mean, it just flows so easily right off my tongue. Top 11 Plus 50 survey of October 31st, 1966. What Becomes of the Brokenhearted? It's Motown's Jimmy Ruffin.